to see if actually people, notice us. So once we have our first individual, we will get rolling here. Let me
Did you,
post it.
I was gonna say, yeah, did you advertise
Yeah,
it?
I'm advertising it right now. Don't worry. I know what
Advertise
I'm doing,
faster.
damn it. I know what I'm doing. God.
Advertise faster.
Listen here, buddy. I don't
Everyone's
want to
voice
hear.
is being shared, right? Just to make sure.
Oh yeah, check
Uh,
your thing right now.
I should be. Um,
I really don't want to have Mr. Boom accident.
Okay, now it is. Oh, thank you for making me check that.
Alright, I have advertised it. Alright, we have our one individual in here.
I, yeah, I have
Okay.
always allow your voice to be shared.
Alright. Welcome, everybody. This is Newton Gaming, or Isaac, whatever the hell you want to call me. I don't know what you want to call me. With my co-host here, EQ. And we have some special guests here today. We have the most amazing individuals in here. 10 out of 10 rating, I think, in my opinion. We have Anxie, we have Bear, we have Spartan. We have also Teacup in here. I'm pretty sure I got everybody. Okay, just making sure. All right, everybody say hi. Don't be shy.
Hello.
Hola.
Yo.
You can't make me say hi.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're gonna start with Anxie here. If you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got started with RP, whatever you want to tell them, just let them have it.
I got it. Hey, what's up? I'm Axie. I was trying to find content for YouTube, and DayZ was a game that I liked, so I ended up trying to get into RP because I played Dungeons and Dragons and shit when I was in like middle school. So I decided to do that. I'm on the staff team. I'm Doctor Get Some Bitches. Well, I think I changed my display name, but yeah. That's pretty much it.
Get some bitches. That's nice. All right. We're gonna go down to our good old guest here, Bear. Tell everybody what you want to tell them. Who you are. If
All
you're
right.
less inspired or not. Have at it.
Yeah. So I joined without a start Contagion, and I played obviously the best character in the server, Dr. Gareth Monroe. It's undecided. I just want to let everybody know that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Best character.
Wow, really spreading it out there.
Yep.
Alright, we have Spartan in here. If you want to tell everybody whatever they want to know about you.
Yes, I'll go. I've been here since 1.0. I originally started because I was bored of normal servers. There was no fun in them. It was just people camping in buildings 24/7. And if you weren't camping in buildings, you spent hours looking for loot just to die. And We That Remain popped up as the first feed when I looked on Google for fun servers to play. I joined up, got whitelisted, and that's pretty much where it's been. I've been here since 1.0, and it's fun as fuck. It's absolutely lovely.
That's good. I'm glad to hear. It's 1.0. That's a long way away. Jeez. Teacup. Teacup is next here. Teacup, if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you came from, how you found the RP and WTR and all that amazing stuff. Have at it.
Okay.
Let them know.
Do I have a limit?
No. You can go on. Like I said,
Cool.
you can go on as long as I forgot to tell that. You guys can tell everybody what they want to know about you and everything.
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Teacup. I've been RPing for, I'll say a little bit over a year now, maybe a year and a half. But yeah, so I started on GTA, and it was all right, but I got kind of bored of that after a while. So I came over to DayZ because I'm into survival games, and same with Spartan. I was playing official for a while and realized it was just like a really boring gameplay loop. And I was on YouTube one day and I saw RP servers, so I figured why not give this a try. and I was bouncing over servers for a long time until I found We That Remain. Until I came over here. I've played so far. I've played Sean, Dingo, Max, and Dingo. No wait, I repeated myself. No. Anyway, yeah. Oh god, put me on the spot. How did you do this?
It's okay. It's all right. All right. Like I said, thank you again for being on here and talking about this stuff with us. We're happy to have you guys. All right. So we're gonna get to our first topic here. So our first topic is, how do you make your character? Just how do you make who they are in game, or like your past characters, whatever you want to talk about. How do you design them the way you want them to be? And anybody can go. Anybody.
I'll go first.
All right.
Alright, so I know a lot of people are going to spend the time to go in and get every nitty-gritty detail of your character, but definitely where I start is I have a character template that I start every character on. And honestly, I usually get inspired by either another game character, an actor, or something of that sort. My last character from my last iteration was inspired by Ellie from Last of Us 2. So, I mean, just getting inspiration by any game or anything at all can really start you getting into the inspiration and the mood to make a new character. So, anyone else can go now.
Very nice.
I could go now. I was thinking, so for all my characters, I differ from EQ because I actually have never taken inspiration from anything before. I've actually just created my character with what I wanted them to be. For example, I've had doctor characters in the past. I thought of doctor, and then you usually want to think of your backstory. You want to think of what builds up to your character becoming a doctor, a police officer, and then you also want to add after they become a doctor, police officer, plumber, whatever it is. And once you add that, you can also incorporate all that into the lore that is up at the moment. Like right now, I think I included it by saying my character was on a vacation, and he had to go to the bunkers, and there wasn't enough space in there, so his parents were forced to stay outside, and the bombs went off while he was getting into the bunker. But that's something that was inspired by something kind of like Fallout, going into a bunker and then the people outside the bunker get fucked up. You get it. But I say a great start is to always think about what profession or what your character was before everything went down, and then think about what led up to them becoming that. And that will always give you a great thing to talk about in game whenever you have one-on-one conversations with other people, and it'll also give you a great thing to it'll get you more into your character so you don't get bored as easily.
Okay, that's interesting. I've mostly heard people talk about their characters being inspired like EQ, and that's cool. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I feel both of them on that. I'm kind of in the middle of both EQ and AXE. I do half and half, kind of what AXE does most of the time, though, where I just think of an idea and I go with it. But every now and then I'll have a character that's inspired. Like when I first joined the server, my very first character, not gonna lie, inspired by Rick from Walking Dead. He was chief of the Cherno. He was the chief of Cherno's police department, and I just went with that. It was also another reason I went with him is because I want to become law enforcement when I get older. So I'm real life profession, also person that I love in TV show. you put them together, it makes a pretty good mix. And when you're doing a character that, one, may be a profession that you want to do in real life, and two, is a character from a show that you love, I feel like you get more attached to that character. When you get attached to your character, it makes the RP 10 times better than when you're just making a character out of the blue, so then you don't have to make stuff up on the spot to random people.
I will say one thing is there definitely has to be a disconnect from your character and yourself, but I can totally get behind kind of basing your character off of yourself, but still having that like disconnect when it comes to things. But like my last character, like I love apocalyptic stuff, so I was like definitely in tune with like the survival thing, but it is a very good point to start off your character with like a previous occupation or like an event that happened in their life that kind of formed their behavior slash character. So
Wait,
definitely good points.
I'm sorry. Wait, Mr. Boom asked if you could say Carl in Rick's accent.
Oh, God. Coral! Coral!
It's terrible. Absolutely garbage.
No. Don't hate on him. Everyone clap. Everyone clap.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that has it. Have you guys had an American
No.
accent?
That's the first time I've had anybody ask me to say Carl.
Carl. Oh god.
But yeah, him and my character from Livonia and Chernarus Contagion are probably my two favorite characters. And it's funny, my Chernarus and Livonia Contagion character was just random. Like honestly, I was half asleep when I made him. He was a firefighter, I believe. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Like his backstory wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything cool. He was probably one of my like least detailed characters I ever made. But he soon became my favorite character because of something random that happened in game. I met up with a guy named Vlad in game, out of the blue, and then I fell asleep and I woke up the next day, like a day IRL, and Vlad was still in the same exact area as me randomly. So we met up. We ran on a little route run. We were going towards the prison in Livonia. God, I haven't played Livonia in forever. And I found a fridge on the side of the road, and we met up with two people. You might know one of them. His name was Sean. He was the leader of the Freedom Fighters. And then David, who was he was like, I don't know, he was the co-leader for like 3 days, and then he never woke up again. And so I became the co-leader. But yeah, my character turned from, I think his name was Mike, into Fridge. And in my opinion, one of the best characters in that season, outside of Sean. Sean and Fridge were the iconic duo. You see them go everywhere together. You would probably, I'm surprised not a lot of people in this party, unless, well, I haven't asked Bear and Ikesy yet, but I'm surprised you three didn't really much hear about him.
I remember him from the Gleniska days, trust me.
Yeah, he
The whole
was.
Freedom Fighter stuff.
Yeah, the Fridge was awesome, and it's just because I found a random Fridge. I slowly but surely unearthed my character. I said that he was secretly a heavyweight champion type thing. He was like a strongman, and so he could do sit-ups with a fridge, and that was my thing. I'd go around, I'd do sit-ups with a fridge, I'd collect fridges. I think at the end of Livonia, I had 6 fridges, and then before I died in Cherno, I had 5. And it's just because of one simple thing that can make your character super fun and make you instantly fall in love with him. Like a character that wasn't important to me at all. I didn't care if he died or didn't die. I didn't know what I was going to do with him. Became probably my favorite character I've ever made.
It's funny. I've had a similar situation to that. I made a character that was raised by wolves. His name was Code Black, which basically, well, the name is supposed to be pronounced Codlack. I don't know if you guys ever played Skyrim. Codlack Whitemane. But I actually forgot that that was a character in Skyrim, so I
Hmm.
changed the pronunciation of it and I named him Kodlak. And he was basically supposed to be a filler character at the end of the iteration for Lonely Roads, like 2 seasons before it merged with WTR, and he ended up being literally one of my most successful and one of my favorite characters. Obviously, I had a character before that people knew that I wasn't a shit RPer. I actually knew what I was doing. Um, but like Kodlak had that very childish but like maturity to him at the same time, since he was raised by wolves and he didn't even make human contact until like the apocalypse started. He had that like not knowing what was right and wrong that made him so fun to play. Like I remember they were a mafia. There was a mafia that was running Chernaris, and Kodlak was always talking shit to them on the radio because the people that he lived with at the same time didn't like how the mafia would say they would do something, but they wouldn't do anything. So Kodlak pursued to like make shit up. Like he called them a pepperoni mafia. He called them a fake mafia, and so on and so forth. And when they came to try to do something to Kodlak, they didn't do anything. So it was like, I don't know. It made the character a lot more fun to play. That I was able to be a good person, but also be an asshole at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, I get what you mean. Like, you know, when it comes to like making a character, in my opinion, because like you can make this huge backstory, but like I feel it's important where like before you go into actually playing that character, like you don't focus too much on it, but you need a loose understanding of, you know, your character's personality. How do they act? Because obviously it's subject to change, you know, development and stuff, but you need to really get into who you are as the character and like what you think, how you act, what your personality is. And like I don't know if most people do this, but I've done it with most of my characters so far. Like because you know in movies, TV shows, RP, no character is perfect. You know, they all have flaws. That's what I've done with most of my characters. They all have flaws because it's something for them to overcome in the future, and like it sets it up as they're not just this perfect person. If you get what I mean, there's stuff to actually overcome. There is no like real. It's sort of a gray area morally, really. If you understand what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I think that's a good segue into talking about character flaws. I see a lot of new RPers and a lot of new writers in general make a character to be either too perfect or too flawed. So my thing is usually my character have at least one big flaw in their personality or something like that. For example, my character might have like bipolar disorder or might have like paranoia or might just have like a traumatic incident with like a certain type of person. And so that gives them one big flaw, and then I can kind of flesh out the rest of their character and how they would act. So I'm just gonna give like a rough example. This character has like anger issues or intermediate. My dog is like dying. I apologize.
That was a
Intermediate.
dog.
I'm dying
Yes.
inside.
He sounds like a.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God.
Like she's like coughing.
Let's get
She's
back on
like
track.
I don't know what she's doing.
Let's get back on track.
But intermediate explosive disorder is basically anger issues, and so that could be like a main flaw that they're trying to work over in game.
Yep. Nice.
So, and like other flaws could be like if their experiences with like weapons or like medical supplies. Like some characters don't know anything about medical, so they can't really help themselves if they're sick or stuff like that. don't know how to fire a certain gun. I've seen a lot of people not have characters that don't know how to fire assault rifles. They're Jesus. Uh, only able to fire like rifles and like shotguns because they were like raised with hunting, or I've seen like fisherman characters who haven't really been on land at all. So definitely
Uh,
having a bit of a handicap in some characters definitely helps you flesh out the rest of them.
yeah, my character, for example, my character as of now. Well, I've actually played every character that I have played has never known how to shoot a gun before. They have never shot a gun a day in their life. My first character, who was a doctor, has never shot a gun. My second character, who was raised by wolves, obviously didn't know how to shoot a gun. And my character now doesn't know how to shoot a gun. He knows that a shotgun is point and shoot. He has a pretty powerful shotgun, but he doesn't know, like, like I don't want to. Obviously, it's kind of hard to incorporate it into like your actual like play style, which is where even I have trouble with. For example, when say you don't know how to shoot a tundra. In the actual game, you've been playing this game for a long time. That's why you're RPing. It's so you can learn, like, so you can actually, you already know everything. So you don't have to worry about, like, struggling with a bunch of shit. So, I tend to struggle with actually making it, a little bit believable that I can't shoot the gun. Because, my first instinct is, oh, there's a deer in front of me. He's standing still. I know how to hit this deer because I need food. But my character doesn't know how to shoot the rifle. They're probably going to miss. So you have to take it away from like you have to take your flaw away from your actual like mechanical skill when it comes to the game and your like development of your character and them learning how to shoot the rifle. And a great way to even do this is practicing missing shots on purpose when you're on your own. It'll kind of teach you that that hunting as a character does not always go your way, and it's a great way to like also talk about it with someone in the future. Like, damn, I missed a shot on a deer earlier, and I'm kind of hungry, and I need food, and I have some water, but I haven't eaten anything in a little bit, and it gives you something to trade with someone as well. Uh, I think that sacrificing some food, sacrificing some water to be able to advance your RP is sometimes a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. To go on with character flaws and stuff, I'll talk about two things. One, my old character, Fridge. I had made him have the stupidest flaw ever, and it made for great RP and it made fun. Like me and the Freedom Fighters, we always had fun because of this one flaw. My character was scared of beans. Yes, beans. The only like when there was plenty of times where we had no food, but we had plenty of beans, or we didn't have food on us, but one of our characters had beans, and I refused to eat it. I almost died 2 or 3 times as Fridge because I refused to eat beans. And then they'd also chase me around the camp with beans and shit. And I had this whole like elaborate backstory for why I didn't like beans. I think if I try and remember it now, it was like for some reason my parents used to force me to only eat beans or some shit like that. I don't remember. It was so long ago. Well, I mean, it wasn't ages, but it was still a decent bit ago. Um, but yeah, I hated beans. And then now my current character, he's a computer analyst. He knows how to shoot a pistol, but like barely, and he knows how to use a knife and stuff like that. But that's about it. So I'm having him, like HC said. Hang on, sorry. Like HC said, purposely miss shots. So I was at my base earlier today, and I was a bunch of wolves came up. Obviously, luckily, I'm inside. Otherwise, I would have had actually killed them. But I'd purposely miss shots on them, just to seem like, oh wow, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Because obviously, my character doesn't know how to work a high-powered rifle. He just knows that point, shoot, bam, it's done, and that's that. So yeah, I definitely agree with HC on that. You definitely have to train yourself to not act like you're playing on an official server and definitely think like, oh, this is real life. What if I didn't know how to actually shoot that gun? What if I didn't know how to aim and hit the bullseye? So yeah, I 100% agree with Axie on that because that's 100% what you have to do.
And another thing to add on to that is you also, if, for example, a new player did get into an RP server, you having a learning curve, you can't have a character that's super experienced in things. Like, my first character, I was still kind of new to DayZ, so that's why my character could only shoot, like, bolt-action rifles, is because I was new to DayZ. And so, with your personal experience, just playing DayZ in general, you have to kind of take that into account of your character. Like, if you're not a good PvPer, I don't really suggest having a very aggressive character, although there are some learning curves around that, and like some ways you could make it work, but I would not suggest having like a very aggressive like military character when you don't know crap about DayZ PvP. So that's something that you should think about, especially when you're making a new character. Be like, I don't know much about medicine. I probably shouldn't be a doctor. I don't know much about like military stuff. I probably shouldn't be like a military personnel. Although you can learn about it, it's just you probably shouldn't like try to pick up a whole new skill just to make a new character. Although accents and stuff is kind of different.
A way to counteract that also, if you are like struggling when it comes to like, oh damn, I want to be a doctor character, but I don't really know stuff about medicine. Doing research before you make the character is definitely a great thing to do. For
Yeah,
example,
I totally agree with that. I did so much research.
Practicing accents, practicing voices, looking up videos on how to do it easier. I had to make one of my characters mute because I didn't know how to do an Irish accent for quite a long time. And then I ended up substituting the character for not being Irish, and I made him Scottish because that was the only thing, that was as far as I could progress into an Irish accent. Sometimes your own body limits you from being able to do certain things, right, when it comes to, voices, but you can always educate yourself infinitely on medicine, on military tactics, on how the police force works, on how plumbing works, how fishing works. You can always infinitely educate yourself on that, and that can lead to that can always lead to new characters and new ideas. And a lot of people tend to get bored of RP because they can't think of that. But a lot of the time, all you need to do is research.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's 100% true as well. Like, and it's going along with what you said earlier, EQ. Like, don't try and do things that you don't know. Like, if you're a new character and you don't know anything, try and do something that you do know. Like, I know you said don't try and mix reality into the game, but let's say like realistically you're a construction worker or something like that. Play a construction worker. You know what it is. You know how to do it. And then on your free time, research other things. And then whenever your character dies or a new iteration happens, then play someone else.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that because, like, personally, I didn't know much about military and stuff, and then like now it's like one of my favorite hobbies to like figure out like military tactics and like tacticalness overall because one of my characters was a military personnel, and I had to like figure out what special forces did and what guns she had when she was enlisted and like how it would work climbing up the ranks and what she would be like specifically, like what role she would play in the military. I did so much research on that. It was definitely very fun and it caused me to have one of my favorite hobbies now. So definitely looking up research is one of the biggest things you can have to get inspiration and also just be accurate with your character.
It's fun too. Like learning new things for me has always been like very fun, and like even sometimes like I'm gonna be honest right now. Doc's surgery. I was looking shit up. I was completely on Google. I was looking at like even now I make my mistakes and don't know what I need to do. So I tend to look on Google really quick to see what could be the specific problem. Like I had to treat Duncan for a heart a heart palpitations, and he was having like problems. His user is I'm Richard B. You've probably seen him on the Discord. But I had to treat him, and he was nice enough to do it at the end of like the server restart. So once the server restarted, I was able to use the entire restart to be able to research on what I had to do to make sure this guy's character didn't die. But either way, it wasn't in my control for this guy's character to die because that would be power gaming. But obviously, you understand. Like, I wanted to be able to treat him correctly and know how to do it correctly without breaking both mine and the player's immersion. Um, but I want to go back to something I said before. I mentioned what is it called? I mentioned getting bored with your character. I want to talk about how you can combat this and make sure that it doesn't happen. Uh, I don't know if you guys want to go first because I have a lot to spitball about it. So I would like for you guys to say your say of it first
Alright.
before I go.
Let me look at something really quick. But definitely getting bored with the character is a problem that a lot of people have, and they don't really know how to progress with the character. That is definitely something that you have to, think about. But another thing is how can we make our character unique? How can we make our character act overall? There's a lot of questions that a lot of new RPers have, and I know it's definitely a struggle with people who aren't as creative when it comes to those things. It's definitely a struggle, so they make these really short bios, and they don't really have a very in-depth character, and that kind of just leads to not failed RP, but just kind of boring, not exactly good RP. It doesn't keep you at the edge of your seat. It doesn't keep you entertained.
The last thing you want to do is be in a situation with another player and they ask you, "Hey, so what were you up to before all this went down?" And you're just uh like that just completely makes it it completely breaks everyone's immersion, and it makes it where other players have to try to they have to obviously a good RPer would be able to cater to you not really knowing what to do next, like what to say, or when you didn't really make your character as fleshed out. But it could get annoying when it happens to you multiple times in a row. I know I made a character where I had a fully fleshed out backstory. I knew how my past was and everything, and I used to talk to people, and a lot of the time the person would just blank out, and I would get no answer for the next minute of them trying to think of something off the top of their head, and it's usually not that enjoyable. And I'm sorry,
Oh yeah,
Spartan, I think
no,
you
I
want to say something.
no, I agree with you 100%. And I love looking at the character things and seeing someone actually put some time and effort, even if it's a few seconds worth. I know my character right now, he wasn't the best. He's definitely not one of the best I've ever made. His thing's pretty easy, but I put in a little depth into him, a little backstory and stuff like that. And then I'll see the person I posted there right after me. It wasn't even a sentence. It was, I think, no, it was literally just one sentence. It was
Yeah,
his
whenever
name,
I
his
see
age.
that, I get upset. Especially being on the mod team, I'm very dedicated to RP, so it kind of frustrates me, But I can't just plain out delete someone's backstory unless it goes against the lore.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what sucks. But
Yeah,
you get what I mean.
and it's something that I feel we're seeing a lot more recently. It's
It's
people that
because
are putting
a lot of
a few
conquest players are
sentences.
joining, and I have nothing against conquest. Conquest is a really fun server, and I know damn well that's the only reason why I actually can do some shit in RP. But the problem is a lot of the conquest players don't really know what they're doing when it comes to creating a character, when it comes to RP, and they kind of just want to get in there and fuck shit up. I'm someone who everyone on the staff team does applications, and I've seen some application responses that the person is their first character, they're from Conquest, and they want to make a military character, or they want to they want to talk about they don't have a backstory. They just say, "Oh, ex-military officer served for this many years." That's it. Like that was all it was. And it's like we we usually make those people do it again because we understand the struggle of people not really knowing what the fuck is going on with their own character.
Yeah, and yeah, I 100% agree with
To
that. And
add
it's
something,
oh, go ahead.
like, sorry to interrupt you guys, but my first character was not a military character. Like, I got I had someone help me kind of like figure out RP. So, and they told me it's probably not a good idea to make military characters your first character. So I made a medic character and went super simple. Didn't like was very oblivious to the outside world and was just like a little like a girl who survived in the forest with her dad and was just like who knew stuff about medicine. It was a very basic, simple character, just to get me into the immersion and into the mood, like to figure out RP. And now I have a very fleshed out, very detailed character now because I figured out what flaws and what uh, like strengths and weaknesses I should have for a character that I could also play comfortably. So you
Yeah.
guys go ahead.
And that's 100% true. And to go along with it, like my first character, he knew how to use a weapon. Like I said, he was a police chief, but he I don't think I ever picked up a high powered rifle as him once. I think the biggest gun I picked up was a K74U, which I know that's not what it's called in game, but where is it K74U? I don't remember. I haven't seen one in like literally forever. And I think that was the biggest weapon I picked up. But he normally carried around a shotgun, his pistol, and that was pretty much it. Like he didn't carry around AK-74U, KAM, M4, or anything like that. He strictly stuck to smaller tier police-like weapons, specifically because I didn't want to be another just military guy or another character who doesn't know how to use a weapon but somehow is an accurate as hell shot, which makes no sense. I hate when that happens as well. I agree with someone, I think it was HC that said that as well. Like people that just shoot, that know how to shoot, but their character wouldn't. I hate when people do that. But yeah, I 100% agree. And I like when characters delve out and don't do the norm. Like last night, I think it was, or the night before that, there was a character who made himself an explorer. Now, it's not a rare character. I've seen a few people that are explorers, but his was unique. He climbed to Mount Everest, and then the reason he came to Chinaris was to check out the castles. That's something I've never seen anyone do. I even congratulated him on it last night. I thought it was an absolutely awesome idea. And it was something unique that I've never seen before.
But yeah, people tend to get bored of like their characters, right? This is back to like what I mentioned before, and we kind of touched it, but we kind of like straight off again, which I don't mind because it was a great conversation. But when people tend to get bored of their characters and they really don't know what to do next, and my biggest advice to that is create yourself a schedule. Uh, Make your character. If your character went out yesterday and went to go hunting, then came back and cut down some trees and made a fire, cooked up that food, and then decided, hey, I'm gonna go to the next town over and maybe go scavenging for something. If you do that every day, you're gonna get into a habit of it, and eventually get boring if you do it over and over and over again. But if you start a new habit, people tend you tend to enjoy it until obviously you're doing it 6 days in a row or sessions in a row and you get bored of it again. But I definitely say to give yourself new shit to do. Like definitely form daily routines, form new goals every single time before you get off. Yesterday I found this gun that I was looking for. Today I'm gonna find this much ammo for it. Like you want to make yourself a goal so you don't get bored.
See, I tried doing that yesterday with Max, right? So a big part of his character is he's afraid to venture out far, but then he finally found the courage to do it yesterday, and I know EQ doesn't really want me to talk too much about in-game events. So like something big happened to his character, and he's too afraid to leave the camp now. Yeah, it's annoying, right? Because I want to stay consistent with him, but at the same time, it's getting really boring just staying at camp all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like my character right now has been in camp for a bit. He's a doctor, he's trying to make sure people don't fucking die, like I know you guys know damn well the people at Camp Freedom are some reckless ass motherfuckers. Like these guys only I'm like
I can. Yeah.
like every
Not really.
like yeah, you can attest to that for sure since you're like counsel. But like like a bunch of people in Camp Freedom tend to do stupid shit like fall off the fucking roofs of buildings. I did it the other day. But you get what I mean. Like like you need your character a character such as a doctor needs to stay in the camp to make sure people don't die. But at the same time, me personally, I want to leave the camp and I want to go exploring. I want to go search for medical supplies. But then at the same time, going back into my character's point of view, my character doesn't want to leave the camp because my character doesn't want to just die even though he's a pacifist. He hasn't done a single wrong thing to a single person, but he knows that he will die just from being an associate. He could die possibly from just being in association with the camp. So he wants to have someone go with him most of the time. And that's kind of what limits me, because a lot of people also just want to stay in the camp and relax. So it kind of jeopardizes your own RP to kind of like stay in one position, but at the same time, it also it jeopardizes your own fun to stay in one position. But at the same time, it can also progress RP by you having fun when people actually come to the camp or come to your base, so on and so forth. Oh, silence.
Yeah. That is. Isaac, you have anything to say? You've been silent this entire time, Mr. Host.
No, I've just been letting him talk.
Yeah, come on, host.
You want to know someone who I
Come
on,
have?
host.
Teacup.
I don't want to be rude.
I
There's
literally
so many
just
of
spoke.
you guys
You don't have
in
to be
here.
rude. Just
Oh,
say
well,
something.
I went and grabbed a
This
drink.
is-
So
this is
of
a
course you spoke
discussion.
as soon as I walked away.
This is
What
a
about,
discussion. I mean, I have dinner right now. Like, this is just. We're
What
having
about
a
Bear?
discussion.
Bear, you have anything to say?
Yeah, you haven't talked.
Wait, so we're on the subject of character flaws, aren't we?
No, we were talking
No,
about
currently,
don't
right
let
now,
your
we're
character
talking
be
about,
bored.
like,
Oh, right, okay.
don't allow yourself to get bored of your character, yeah.
Yeah, like, there's been plenty of times where I've gotten bored of a character that I've played, because, like, it gets to a point sometimes, where, you're just doing the same thing all the time. You really want to differentiate from what you've been doing. You want to change things up, but then, like you guys have been saying, you have your character's point of view to think about, because, in some circumstances, why would they want to change things, Like the whole leaving camp thing. But, like, I think when it comes to my character that I've been playing right now, Dr. Monroe, like, there hasn't been much reason for him to leave camp the past couple of weeks, because, similar to you, Axie, he sort of, the past few weeks, he's just been wanting to stay around, help people, but then, it's been made interesting. I made it interesting, but sort of not changing anything really in character, because now he has a reason to stay in camp, but it also makes it very interesting. And I'm not going to go too much in depth there. I don't really want to discuss in-game events to that extent. But I've made it interesting now, but, like, there's a way to do it without sort of going against what your character would want to do and wouldn't want to do.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that we could. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just
you
gonna
go.
say, I think, adding on from what you guys said, I think, like, developing your character and not make him boring is really, I think determined on what your character goes through in game, and I feel like you have to be a part of those huge events, those things that kind of alter your character's personality, whether it's like one simple gunfight or if it's like one simple accident, like accidental discharge or something. What like hardens your character, or even what makes your character even more weak than he was before. So I think adding on to those kind of or adding those things into your character development will, I think, in a way, make you less bored of your character, and probably possibly make your character more like, or you as a person more motivated to keep your character going, rather than just quote unquote leaving the country or just blowing your character's brains out or whatever. You know, you gotta I think you just gotta like push through those bored moments in your characters' lives to get to the good ones sometimes. To
Yeah,
really.
push. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I think pushing through the boredom to actually get to the actual fun parts of it is a great thing to mention. Like, you can't physically get to anything fun if you don't get through the section of the game, which is the beginning of the game, that you've done over 100 fucking times. So why not, while you have all this loot and shit, just give it up and kill yourself? Well, kill your character. Sorry, that sounded really fucked up. Or kill your character when you could just meet more players, meet new players, and actually like make something out of your character. Maybe you can find a character. Maybe your character is like 30 years old, and then you find a teenage character, and you're able to take up a parental role on them and teach them things that they may need to know throughout like survival and so on and so forth that you already know and they may not know. I think that is something that could like that is something that you can always like have happen. Maybe you get into an RP relationship with consent. Um, like I've seen it
Yes.
happen a lot
RP
this season.
relationships is a
Yeah.
very weird topic. Like, very weird.
Yeah, it's a weird topic, and it's something that I'm not completely against. I've tried it out before, right? And it was kind of weird, you know, but at the same time, like, you always have to give something a shot. It always is something that could develop your character, and it's always something. If that person dies, guess what? Now your character's sad, and that changes how your character works. You know, like how your character reacts to certain things. They're like, death comes with trauma, and trauma comes with death. So, um, like, your character will act different if a certain person that they care about a lot, you know, dies. So, death is something bad with characters, but it's also something pretty fun as well, because it allows you to develop your character even more. And it's something that's always going to happen, especially with people like the Tower around.
Yeah. And he's not wrong whatsoever. My character Fridge, I feel like would have still been alive if Sean wouldn't have died. So, like I said, I don't know how many of you guys were around during Contagion, Cherno, but
I played a
there's
little bit.
I know EQ was, but when we attacked the cartel, were you there for that, EQ? When we attacked cartel?
I was.
Yeah. So you remember how much of a fuckfest that was?
Yeah,
Me and
my character was having an absolute breakdown trying to deal with all the wounds.
Yeah, me and Sean were running pretty much head first. We were hiding behind hay bales, pushing forward, and it's just something like out of a movie that you'd see like in a movie happen. I'm sitting there looking at the barn, talking to him, like, all right, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna flank around. It's just you and me until we can meet up, group up with the rest of us. I'm like, we're gonna move on three. Are you ready? And he doesn't respond. And so I look beside me, and he's just dead. Somehow he died.
That's like that. You see, when
Yeah,
you
the
hear it, it's
previous
funny.
method died.
But
And so, like, my character's having mental breakdowns. She was like, he has all the medical supplies. I don't know.
But like, and no. So what it did was it just broke fridge. I'm like, no. And then I got told that like, and then I'm asking around like, where are the other freedom fighters? Where are the other freedom fighters? And then I get told by like two other people, it's just me and one other guy, and there's another one that's badly hurt in the giant barn. And I'm like, so everyone's pretty much dead? And he's like, yeah. And so I got pissed as fridge, and I charged the cartel. I killed one, and then I ended up dying. And so like it 100% goes with what Ake says. And Death definitely has a RP stance on your character, and if you can RP it out, it makes it 10 times better. Because realistically, if you were to be in a situation like that and your best friend just died, if you're not level-headed, you're gonna react irrationally, and it's fun as hell if you're able to incorporate that realism into your character.
Um, I also want to say, don't feel ashamed to actually get attached to another person's character as you're as someone in real life, like as you as a person. Like you can get attached to a character that isn't your own character, like very easily. If you make a friendship, like say I make a friendship with Nox right now, right? With my character Dr. Cooper, and then Nox ends up dying. You know, but I like love Nox as a character outside a game, which I actually do. I love what you're doing with her. But like say
So
I'm
hard on her.
complete, yeah. Say I'm completely in love with how the character works and how who the character is as a person. I have cried before watching like actually cried, like not acting, none of that.
No,
When
I
I've
have
seen
cried too.
yeah, when I've seen someone who is my friend in RP die as their character. But it wasn't because oh yeah, I'm friends with this person at a game. It was because their character is dead. Like I that character is gone. Like I can't I will never be able to talk to that person as that character ever again. That is never going to happen. And it hits you really hard, not like a real death, but it hits you like to a point where it's very emotional, and you feel like it shouldn't be in the moment. I mean, like afterwards, but in the moment, you are bawling your eyes out,
Dude,
completely not ready for
the
it.
amount of times I've cried, like legitimately, like writing journals and listening to like Zello messages of like emotional things happening. The amount of times I've cried is like ridiculous. Like I get attached to characters very easily, but like as my character is emotional, but not that emotional. So it's like I have to like suck up my tears and like actually talk.
Yeah, and I feel that 100%. Every iteration so far, except 3.0. 3.0 was kind of wasn't very like interactive or anything. There wasn't a whole lot going on 3.0. But every iteration outside of that, I've had one character I've gotten, or at least one I've gotten attached to, and somehow it's always been a Russian. Iteration one, it was Beta and the Cavalry. He was a Russian. He was my favorite character, and even when I died, like I was upset that I died because I couldn't talk to Beta anymore. And then when I found out when Beta died, like even though I wasn't that character, I actually got really upset, like out of character, because I'm like, oh, like I was rooting for him. I was hoping he was gonna survive. Then iteration two, it was another Russian guy in the I forget their names, but they wore yellow armbands. Um, and they were a pretty cool group. They took over Vybor, and they were an awesome group. And he was one of the best RPers in that group. And then with Contagion, both seasons of it, like I said, Sean absolutely connected to him, but he wasn't Russian. And then Vlad, he was like I said, the very first person I met on Contagion. Woke up the next day and he was still in the same town by coincidence. And me and him were best friends that entire season. I gave him a pipe, and that was his trusty pipe. He had that even until next season, and like that was his main melee weapon, that pipe. And so like yeah, you definitely get attached to people, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just human nature, like in game and out of game. It's just you'll get attached to people, and if you find out they die, like even if you're not that character anymore, you definitely will get upset.
Yeah.
Like, it'll suck.
I
And
want to say another thing that is very important. This is very important coming from a mod standpoint and coming from like being a moderator on like before the merge of Lonely Roads and WTR and being a moderator now, like reading journals is one of the most important things you can do to having fun in RP, because first of all, you see other people's characters are progressing, right? You get to hear certain sides of stories that your character doesn't know yet, but I'm gonna say this: you don't want to bring any of that into the game, which is really hard. It's really hard learning something in a journal and then being like, "Oh man, I heard this guy died, but shit, I actually don't know that." Sometimes it can be a little spoiling and it could kind of like fuck things up. But a lot of the time, if you're like kind of getting bored of your character and you need to know like how to do like what you want to do next, you can always look at how other people are progressing their characters, and that will definitely give you inspiration or like motivation to continue trying to do it with your own. And writing your own journals even is like a great way of like you get to like talk about everything that happened throughout your session, or like certain important parts that happened throughout your session, and you'll be able to have like you'll be able to like think about it again and be like, damn, I had fun today doing this and this, or like I had fun today meeting these three different people and they taught me how to do this. It's fun like recalling on the things you do throughout your session of role playing.
Yeah, and that's
Another,
true.
another
Sorry,
thing
go
that.
ahead.
Oh, whoa. Wow.
Can I go, or
Wow.
are you guys
Oh,
going?
wow. Tika, you go ahead, since I haven't heard you talk to us.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
have
like
the
a
British
big
people
part
come
with
in.
journal.
Sorry.
Wow.
I take offense.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry.
yeah, I think like a big part with journals, right, isn't just like you're just trying to remember what's going on, but like you're kind of going in deeper with your character's emotional side. The thing with like Max and Huff, I can't really go too deep into that like in character, but like out of character, I can really say like this is how I'm feeling towards Huff, right, and like just stuff like that.
Yeah, you can talk about things that you don't really want to talk about with other like players because you don't really want them to gossip about it, but you can talk about it within yourself and be able to progress your character knowing that other people can see it, right? But but you can also like you can talk about it amongst yourself to be able to progress your character in your own time. Like my I don't know if you guys have read my journals. It's some of the first ones I've done in a really long time. But I've been trying to progress my character. I've been trying to progress my character's emotional side, which I really haven't been into intact to this season or this iteration, just because of the main fact that Camp Freedom is kind of a trip. It's kind of like everyone is very humorous, so a lot of the time like you can't really like be. It's kind of hard to be like really serious and like take in that like that
Just, just talk
that
to Nox. She's like
yeah,
a therapist.
no, but it's like it's really no. I'm saying um, people like to joke around a lot in Camp Freedom, and people like are very nonchalant and are very focused on like having fun. And when it
Yeah.
comes to like oh yeah, let's fucking punch each other in the face inside this little wrestling ring we made, and hopefully we don't fucking kill each other and have to make a ticket. But um
Oh god, I know Mother's so angry.
yeah but like it kind of like being around that environment makes it where you don't really take your own character's emotions as serious, and it could be a problem, but it also could be fun because like it allows you to like eventually be like, oh shit, I've been holding in the fact that I'm super depressed about how my fucking like family died, and or how this person died, just because I've been so caught up with trying to revenge them, like get revenge on them or something like that.
That is like a point that I agree with as well, right? Because like me myself, right, I don't really know how I can like be angry. It doesn't really make sense, right? I can't really express my anger if I'm not actually feeling angry. like if I'm writing it all down in a journal, I can really show like, you know, oh, I hate these guys, or oh my god, how could they do this? That's horrible, you know.
Yeah. Definitely some journals are like certain characters like emotional outlet. If they don't have someone to talk to, it's definitely like your character being able to write down all their
Sorry.
feelings and all of these bottled up suppressions that they've been feeling. And it's definitely a thing that you should take into account is your character's emotional mental health. Like, for example, I love RPing when a character gets like hurt, like they break their leg. Yeah, my character like curses up a storm while she's trying to walk. So I think it's definitely something that you have to think about, like when your character's like hurt or they have some sort of traumatic event. You have to keep in the mindset of your character's emotional status. Like you have to definitely kind of morph your mind into your character's mind, so you
Morph your mind.
so you stay in character in a very like realistic style of things.
I agree with that completely. Like no morph. I know I laughed at like you saying like morph your mind, but that's like 100% like you need to you have to like oh shit I like completely lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I blame that on my ADHD and that I'm playing The Division in the background while I'm talking. Someone else speak because that was like really embarrassing.
Wait, what?
I
I can
completely
just
forgot
keep
what I was
reading.
trying to say.
I'm not gonna lie, I lost my train of thought. So what were we talking about?
Oh, shall I just give
Hey,
more
Bear,
examples
I
about
have
my
one thing
characters
that we
and
should
then...
definitely talk about is characters with mental disorders. It's definitely like a slightly bit of a sensitive topic, but it's also like if you do it correctly, it can be so beneficial for
Can I talk about
RP.
someone real quick? I've never met
Yeah.
them in game. I've only read their character, and you probably have too if you read the characters. Now I know it's current season. I know you don't want us to talk about current season, but I haven't seen him or heard him at all, so I don't even know if he's playing. But his character is absolutely lovely. His name is Bertram. He was one of those like. Have you ever played Wolfenstein Max
Oh my
Haus?
god, I've
Yeah.
played every Wolfenstein game.
Yeah, his character reminds me of Max Haas so much, and I think it's an absolutely amazing idea to play this guy who is so like it's a giant teddy bear but could absolutely crush you if he tried. And that's exactly what kind of character he's playing, and I think that's absolutely amazing.
I can agree with that.
So,
Next topic.
You
Bear,
go, you go, you go.
Bear, I want you to talk to. I need you to talk about mental disorders. So, please, please talk. Please talk.
All
So,
right then.
both of our characters do have like some serious messed up mental disorders, and it's definitely
Yes,
a struggle RPing it. Like,
definitely. Yeah.
so what's your like opinion
Ow.
on like helping people out with characters that have like mental disorders?
I mean, it's hard because like when it comes to actually RPing that out, you know, it can either really work or it really doesn't work.
True.
Like, it's a lot of the time it is just one or the other.
Definitely
Like,
one thing that I would
It's a
suggest
lot
is,
about dedication.
yeah,
yeah, I would definitely like research like a hell of a lot before you decide that your character has a mental disorder, because sometimes you
Yeah.
could really mess it up.
Yeah,
it's
and you don't want to offend someone. You really
Yeah,
don't. Like the
exactly.
last thing you want to do, say you're doing something like bipolar disorder, for example. Say someone
Yeah.
who actually plays the server has bipolar disorder, and you completely fuck something up and offend them completely. That just gets
And
you
also,
in
you're
trouble.
kind of giving like a false representation about things.
Yeah.
And like, I love how Bear's character Monroe is dealing with DID or like split personality disorder. It's
Oh yeah, yeah.
definitely
That's a very common thing. I love it.
it's
I
awesome.
love when any person ever executes that correctly. I've seen it fail.
I've
With
seen it
some
fail
character.
so many times. It's
I've
so
seen it
bad.
fail like with some people's character, but someone who you guys probably will never ever meet because I think he's banned. I don't even know, but I think he's banned because he was on Land and Ruin staff team or something. But he was very great at RP, and his name is Gator Raider, and he had a character that had dissociative identity disorder, and it had he had four different personalities, and they all had different voices, and they all had different triggers for those voices and those characters to come out. Like, for example, like he had his main character was Clyde. That was the host, or the what we I don't know much about DID. I used to.
Yeah, you're
like I
right.
used to a couple
The
like years
original
ago.
person is called a host, and then
Yeah.
every other personality is called an alter.
Yeah, that's something I knew. So there was another alter that was named Lamar that only came out whenever lightning struck down during a rainstorm, and he would always switch between Clyde and Lamar whenever lightning would strike. But sometimes it didn't really work, or sometimes like we would have to use um, like something else to be able for him to alter into a character that who we actually need. Um, Clyde, for example, was like the very like cool-headed, like he didn't really know what the fuck was going on with his body, and he kind of just wanted to figure it out and be able to control it correctly without him getting hurt. Lamar was the dude who like completely didn't care about the fact that he had different personalities within him and didn't even know that they existed. Then he had I forget the name of the character, but he was a vampire. He was actually a vampire, and
Yeah, I
he
know what you're talking about.
He would only drink like O negative blood, of course, and whenever he came out, he would be the person that we asked about he was the one who was the guardian. He was the guardian of the host and all the other altars, and he talked about what is it called? He was the one that helped us about about health and about certain like issues that were going on since he was like 400 years old.
Yeah, with like DID, I did a lot of research about it because I was possibly going to make a character who had it, but then I was like, that's a lot of effort that I don't want to put in right now.
Yeah, a
But
great YouTuber to research it. Their name is Dissociated. Very
yes,
great
I,
YouTuber.
I,
Yeah.
that's who I watch, and it's like so cool. There's always a like protector for like a protector of the host,
I
and
think
the
theirs
like
name is
inner.
Kyle.
Yeah, I believe that. And that's what's kind of happening with Monroe's character is that he had a traumatic event causing DID, and now his like personality is like all messed up because he doesn't want any more trauma to happen. And so he's like it's a very niche thing that takes a lot of effort to do, and I'm obsessed with the way that it's going right now. It's absolutely awesome.
I
Yeah.
actually only met Dr. Monroe during the surgery. I actually that was like when I was that was like last weekend when I was actually like when I'm getting back into it. I don't really get on games at all unless it's the weekend due to school and such. But that hasn't always been a thing. By the way, I just get burnt out. But he definitely like he played a great role in the surgery, and he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing, and I commend you for like not messing up or anything. But I actually didn't know, I didn't put it together until like 5 minutes ago that you fucking freaking out was you trying to keep yourself from dissociating, which was a very very great way of doing it. I loved it now that I have thought about it the way that it's under DID.
Yeah. I mean, like in the middle of the surgery, without saying too much, he was sort of like, because like an event in his past which sort of triggered all of it was something to do with a surgery, and the last thing he wanted to do was, mess it all up again. So, sure, like a bit of it was just anxiety from the actual surgery, but most of it, like you said, was him trying not to dissociate from like what he was doing in that moment and the alter that he was.
It's also like other mental disorders are definitely something that, like, for example, a lot of military personnel do have some sort of traumatic event that happened, and so that's definitely something to think about. Like, personally, my character she was born with bipolar, so she couldn't really help that at all, but she did gain some trauma from the military, and so she now is a bit of a paranoid person. And so that's also something you could think about, like your character to have ADHD and like constantly like be out of it, which is an awesome character trait to have.
I wouldn't say out of it. I'm a person personally who has ADHD, like diagnosed, neurologist, all that shit,
Yes,
psychiatrist.
I do too.
And
I love seeing good representations of it.
Yeah,
Especially...
I love seeing other people
I'll
try
be
to
right back.
play it, but I have seen people completely fuck it up, and
Yeah.
it kind of it like being on the receiving end, like being on like the being someone who actually has ADHD and like watching other people do it. To be honest, it could kind of be offensive, and it could kind of like mess with you a little bit.
It can kind of be really cringy.
Yeah, it can be cringy as well, because like, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but people who tend to try to like represent like disorders or like neurodivergent issues such as like as dyslexia or something like that, they don't really do research. And like I don't think I've met like one person who has done ADHD correctly before. Like, I haven't seen someone get overstimulated. I haven't seen someone like, I've seen they get the lose focus part correctly, but they're not really hyper. They don't hyper fixate on anything, which is like, it completely it it kind of fucks with what ADHD even is in the first place.
And it's like, also the thing is it's the difference between men and women. And so I have not seen any women characters with ADHD that have actually represented like how it is, because like the representation between boys and girls, like ADHD in boys, it's a lot more of a thing that you can notice a lot more, while in like women, it's a thing that goes undiagnosed for years in most people. So that's definitely something that all I could say is, if you're going to do disorder, is please, 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 please research it.
Yeah,
do your research.
Damn research, or you're gonna get your ass beat by me. I'm gonna ban you from the server if you don't do your research.
So
With no appeal.
please do your research on anything that you add into your character. Please do your research.
If I ever do a disorder, I'm definitely gonna. I'm probably 100% gonna steal Max Haas from Wolfenstein. Like, I've always wanted to do a character like him, because he doesn't say anything other than Max Haas, and like you can tell by the way he voices his emotions if he's upset or not. Like, he'll be all happy, like Max Haas.
Max Haas is so fun. I loved playing the Wolfenstein game and like finding him teddy bears and shit.
I know, they were lovely, bro. I fucking
the game is literally right here. Wolfenstein: The New Order, Xbox 360. It's right there, right to my right.
I have Wolfenstein. I have all the Wolfensteins, including the DLCs. Youngblood, New Blood. I have Youngblood, Old Blood, Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein: The New Order, Wolfenstein: The New Order, and Wolfenstein Colossus. And
The 2D ones look so weird.
Oh, but when you play the nightmare modes, those are I tried. I actually got pretty far in Wolfenstein New Colossus. In the little nightmare one, but then I kept dying.
That's where he kills his dad, right?
Alright, I think we should move on to a little bit of, when it comes to characters' backgrounds and how you should like represent it. For example, let's talk about like accents. Like, for example, a lot of people try to do Russian characters and can't really get the knack of a Russian accent, and I'm definitely going to advise you to not do a character that has an accent that you cannot do. Like, physically, I cannot, like, do a,
My Russian
an
characters always
English
end up
accent.
sounding like Gru
Yeah.
from Despicable Me.
Like I can halfway do a Aussie accent, but I've still never made an Australian character because I'm not perfect at it. I know I'm probably never gonna be perfect at it, but I can do like a pretty decent one where if I was to make a character, I could
Yeah.
stay as an Aussie the entire time, and then if I'm losing it, I can just be quiet for a little bit and get back into the
Yeah,
group.
that's my suggestion. I kind of have definitely some trouble with Nox's accent because she's Italian, and since it's a Latin origin,
Italiano.
yeah, Italiano.
All right,
Like
hey,
it, since like, what's up? What's up, Isaac? What you got?
uh, I gotta go do some stuff really quickly, but I'm gonna keep the podcast rolling. So just
All right, I am host now. I am host of the podcast.
I claim host.
so
Nope,
just
I claim
keep
host.
going. I will
Zips.
be back.
Host Spartan on the podcast. Welcome everybody. We're gonna change
Alright,
this
so
entire thing up, talking about Wolfenstein now. Let's go.
no,
Everyone
no,
sit.
Spartan.
No, I claim ownership. This is a late night radio show.
So the thing that with accents is that you should definitely, if you're going to do an accent, you physically have to have the capability to do it. Since I am like nationality, I'm Hispanic, and so with that Latin
Me
origin,
too.
it's
High five.
not that hard for me to kind of like tap into the like Italian side of things, since both Spanish and Italian can like basically talk to each other.
They're
So
actually cousin languages, not sister.
yeah, they're cousin languages, so it's really easy for me to tap into that Italian accent. But sometimes it like swaps into like a Slavic accent, and then I'm just like,
I don't want to be an asshole, but I haven't really noticed your accent. I haven't really paid much attention at the same time, so that's
yeah,
probably what
it's
it
like
is.
it's a
but-
very slight accent
No,
since I didn't.
it is very slight, but you can kind of notice it. And I like Italian accent and like an Italian accent is not really that easy to do because it's
It
kind
is
of like
absolutely hard.
yeah,
It
it's
is.
not like it's not like the accent that everyone knows how to do. Like a shit ton of people, I've not met a single person that like hasn't been able to like at least try a little bit and succeed a little bit to do a British accent.
Or
And-
like a Russian accent. It's honestly, there's some like fine tuning to getting a Russian accent, but it's definitely
well, a
like
lot of the Russian accent is learning the language as well.
yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like when it comes to accents, like as any character I've played, I've only ever done an American. I've only ever put on an American accent and then just done like the very formal British talk for Gareth. Like
You're-
I
Okay, when you try to do other accents, it's I don't want to diss you, but it's really hard to get the way you talk is a very like unique way that you talk. Like the tone of your voice.
yeah.
And it comes through in every single accent that you try to do. So when you're not Gareth, it's like hard to forget that you're not Gareth.
Yeah, I get what you mean. That's one of the reasons why I'm never going near a Russian character in my entirety of We That Remain until I can perfect
I am probably
everything.
never going to do an Italian character ever again. This is like I never
I plan
done
on doing. I plan on doing my my Russian. I played a Russian character when I first joined We That Remain, and then I actually ended up switching to WTR for reasons I'm not gonna say. But I mean, I ended up switching to Lonely Road. Sorry, I don't know why I said We That Remain then WTR. Whatever the fuck. But Russian accents, like a Russian accent is an accent I've always been like very good at. And it's something that like I'm super excited to tap into again, but I didn't want to do it as like my first character back because, you know, like you kind of want to go into something normal. Yeah, like I'm kind of rusty and I don't want to hurt my voice every single time I RP. But like a lot of doing accents is
I feel
also
so bad for the
conditioning.
tower.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of doing accents is like conditioning. Like like Habit, for example, like I've heard his Russian accent is like spot on. It's like very, very good. And like I've heard him go in and out of it like very easily. It's like a lot about practice and but sometimes he'll try to like speak in like his normal voice and the Russian accent will just come out and he'll be like, I didn't do that on purpose. Like I've had that happen to me as well.
That has happened to me so many times. Like I'm like talking to a person, and then I like go into like the Knox, like a little bit of Italian accent, and I'm just like, oh crap.
It's a lifestyle, man. Like it's legitimately like something like you have to go
So,
through.
Teacup, does your character have an accent? Because honestly, I personally didn't know you were British for the longest time.
Oh, you should have
Like,
seen Dingo.
I
Oh,
take
you should have seen
offense.
Dingo.
What's one of your dingo's voices?
Oh my! Oh my! Have you seen any
so
clip?
good.
Have you seen any clips of his character Dingo?
No,
Oh
I
my!
haven't.
I
Oh
love
my god! Like you just did it in the accent.
Drake, you would Augustus.
What the
Oh my
fuck is happening?
Oh my god! The Dingo accent is literally the best.
I had to do that for 2 months. I had a sore throat every single day. I was so glad when he died.
Oh my god.
I get
Like,
it,
I
honestly.
feel so bad for West of the Tower because I've literally talked to them out of character, and it's like, they are like, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the time that this character dies so I could give my voice a rest. And I'm like, oh, I feel bad. Because,
Yeah,
like, most of them are, like, British slash, like, American, like, Canadian thing. And it's like,
Judge is British, Rabbit is American, Habit's American. I don't know if what's
but
his name?
Yankee doesn't have an accent, so it's not hard for him.
I don't even know who. I don't really know who's in the group. I just know those three. Like I'm pretty
Habit
sure.
is Yankee, I believe.
Oh,
No?
I didn't
No,
know
no, no.
that. Because
I forget, is it Habit or
Does a
Rabbit?
great Habit does Rabbit. It's Rabbit. It's Rabbit. It's Rabbit. Rabbit doesn't have a great Russian accent, so that makes sense to me.
Crap, we might have some technical difficulties. I have
What do you
someone
mean?
watching the... Hold on. Let me make sure the live stream is still running how it should be. Guess he's kind of been, like, sitting here. Okay, yeah, it is. Alright, so we have some people who commented. Thank you, TJ. You are very kind. Dies to make Nox cry. Dude, you have emotionally messed me up in IRL with the amount of times that you made me cry, man. Like, Cat Freedom has made me so emotionally messed up.
That's funny.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
But
Camp Freedom's is a trip, like I said earlier.
I don't even know how you guys live there. Like, I went there. I've been there like 2 times in isolation.
okay,
And
my
it's
thing is I hate it because, like, the way they are talking and all the time, I can't take my character seriously because I'm just out here, like, busting out laughing the entire time I'm there.
The other day, I think you were there. EQ. I was talking to Duncan. I'm Richard's character, right? And
Yeah.
I was talking to him about how he was saying that he is deaf, or like goes deaf every now and then. I was like, oh, do you have an hearing aid? And he goes, oh no, I use eardrops. And I had to turn off my microphone because I started laughing so fucking hard, like my stomach was hurting. And then I turned it back on to reply to him because I literally could not, like, I just like some people's characters are like naturally humorous, but
Duncan.
I just was not
Duncan is
ready for
awesome.
that
I
at
love his
all.
character.
I was not ready for that at like one point at all.
Dude, I cannot take Duncan's character seriously sometimes because the way he kind of like talks as Duncan, I just kind of like find it a bit humorous, and then Duncan is just naturally really sarcastic and funny, and it's just like,
I still can't get over the fact that he's like young still.
Dude, can you believe that TJ's young? Alan's character?
They
He
just have
sounds
deep
like a...
ass fucking voices, dude.
I know! Like, everyone at Camp Freedom has some deep voices, and I'm just like, ah.
I sound like the fucking squeaky voiced Despicable Me.
But definitely is try to stay in your realm of like comfortability. Like if you can't like do a certain accent, you can definitely study on it, but I would not suggest doing it if you're super new to it. So that is something to keep in mind. And also, I swear, if you're going to have a mute character, don't just start randomly talking. You need, if your character's like medically mute, have some character development to make them talk.
Yeah,
Voldemort.
Have character development to make them mute.
my
Like-
character, Lonely Roads, his name was, the one that was Irish, his name was Zane O'Malley. He was a mute character, but he wasn't mute as in like he's deaf, or he was a selective mute. So like if he wanted to, he could speak, and he only spoke to people or spoke with people that he was comfortable with, which were his two brothers who had basically adopted him. They all lived in an orphanage together, and he would only speak to them, and he would only make like little snarky comments or one word answers, and that's like the only thing he would do. But it wasn't like, if you're gonna go to mute character, never speak unless they are selective mute. There is no reason you should be speaking. Like you can't.
Speaking. He just added an IN to that speaking.
That's. I live in New York, so we don't finish words a lot. And we create a lot of new ones as well.
You know what sucks is when, like, I live in a place that's pretty southern, and so I get a southern accent sometimes, and it's terrible when my Italian character says something southern, and I'm just like, facepalm. Absolutely. Cringe. Ugh.
When you do an Italian, like you're trying to do your Italian accent, and then all of a sudden you say like y'all, and you hear y'all, like it's like it comes out like,
Or
you're
like,
straight out of fucking Tennessee.
that's where I am.
Oh shit!
He just doxed me, man. He just doxed me.
You doxed yourself. You didn't even need to say that.
I really could not care less. But definitely is always practice your accent if you're going to have an accent. Always practice it. It's definitely something that is a skill that you need to definitely master.
Can we go back to the mute characters for a second?
Yeah.
Right, so I think I've never experienced this personally, but I know other people have because they've told me about it. Right, if you're going to roleplay a mute character, use the action wheel. Don't just stand there and say nothing.
Yeah, that action wheel is your best friend. And if you're a mute character, if you're thinking about making a mute character, I suggest like asking in character creation help, which is in the server, is one of the channels in the server, or make a ticket. Let them know that you have a mute. Let us know that you have a mute character, and let us know that let us know what you are doing. A mute character is literally not allowed to engage in hostile interactions unless a player that they're with initiates. So you're not allowed to initiate on hostile because you're mute. If you are dedicating your character to being a mute character, the only time you can be in a hostile interaction is if your buddy is like, hey, me and this guy are telling you to put your fucking shit down or we're gonna kill you. That's the only time you can do anything hostile. And it's also really hard it's really hard to be mute and getting in hostile interactions in the first place. Like telling someone to get down as a mute character, that's not happening. You're always going to need to have someone by your side. And getting robbed as a mute character is even harder because they're going to be like, why aren't you speaking? But your hands are up. And if you put your hands down, you're probably going to die. So you can't... being a mute character comes with a lot of risks. So I need if you're ever going to do it, just to, to think about it. Like, think about it really hard. Is this really what I want to do? Like, you really do. Because I've done it, and it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah, I think the big thing with that as well, though, right? That you need to realize that when you play that character, you could be going months without saying a word in the server. That can get boring fast. That's something people don't realize.
Oh,
yeah, that's
and
true.
you don't want to. I know someone who is mute in the server who is actually mute in real life. Do your research. This is another thing you want to do your research on. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Ariala or Gypsy in the server before, but
I might have.
she is one of the most down-to-earth people. Like, literally one of the most down-to-earth people on, this planet that I've ever met. And and I've only communicated with her through, text and through, her being, out of game, obviously. And for her to be able to, and her actually, communicating through the game's,
I like how I could hear you tapping
taunts.
on your desk as you talk.
That's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. And that wasn't tapping. I think I cracked my knuckles. I don't even remember.
I don't know what it is, but, every time you talk, there's, some sort of noise, and I'm just like, is he, tapping the desk as he's talking?
It's a concentration thing. Leave me alone. If you want to bully me, then leave. I can be the host.
No, I've already said. I'll be the host. We'll talk about Wolfenstein. We'll just change it.
Yeah. We don't even need to talk about DayZ. What's DayZ? Never heard of that game a day in my
what's
life.
DayZ,
What
bro?
the fuck is RP, fucking nerds? Who the fuck role plays?
Yeah, who acts as somebody that they're not, bro? Who does that?
Who does that?
Why would you ever want to be someone that you actually aren't? You know what? Honestly, at that point, just die,
Yeah, bro. Just reinvent yourself, bro. Just change, bro.
Alright, I think a thing that we should also talk about is...
What was another talking point, by the way? Because we've been kind of stuck on all the other things. On all these one things. The boredom, specifically character-oriented things. What are other talking points that you guys had planned out?
Definitely a thing that
I
you
mentioned
need to...
mine already.
Wait, what?
I mentioned my talking point already, that's why.
Oh. Well, definitely a thing that you guys should take into account is kind of deciding whether or not your character should be a good moral person or a bad moral... their morality is definitely something that you should take into account. Maybe a journalist who has never hurt someone in their entire life has a very good morality and cannot handle the guilt of hurting another person. If you're going to have that, I would suggest keeping a very strict code of conduct with that character. Staying the same, but if there's some sort of trauma or character development, you see that slight twist and switch of the character's morality. Or if your character is has a bad morality and wants to cause harm to other people, that's also something that you should definitely be careful with code of conduct, with hostile interactions. Your character just can't randomly hold up another person and kill them just because they have bad morality. That is something that please do not do, because the mods will murder you. I'm just gonna say that.
I will murder you.
Yes, he will personally murder you.
You're gonna track down their address. You just have their IP written down. As soon as you're just watching them, as soon as they do, I send them invoice.
I just
I 100% agree with that. And I knew a character who was a doctor, and he would not. He didn't carry any weapons outside of a pistol,
There's
and
like
that was
80
only.
this season. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah,
80 doctors this season. It's
but this doctor won't kill anybody. Like he only carries a pistol to kill zombies, but he calls them husks, and he carries an axe, and that's it. Like will not carry a
My
blue weapon.
character right now is completely dedicated to the oath, and
Yeah, that's what he was too. He's completely
Yeah.
dedicated to oath. He will not take a life.
yeah, my character hasn't even like purposely like tried to hurt someone ever. I maybe have by mistake like punched someone when I was trying to like practice punching. Knox, stop yelling at me for it, by the way. But I've like as the character I've never even hurt someone, and I've never thought about hurting someone. But maybe something in the future might change that, and that's not foreshadowing. That's literally like that's something that can easily change because RP can change literally everything. One little event can change everything that happens to your character.
And that's 100% true. Like it can be the smallest of things as well. Like I said with around back to the other thing with my character with the fridge. Like that was not intentional. That wasn't planned whatsoever, and it changed my entire dynamic and probably what do you want to call it, butterfly affected to so many different things happening just because I found a fridge. And I'm sorry, who has a better nickname than Fridge? Like, come on, tell me. You can't have a better nickname than that.
Nox, a Latin
No.
name.
Nah, bro, Fridge.
You
That's
should
like,
work on
you would
nicknaming
never,
bitches.
you would never expect someone's
Stop!
nickname to be
I swear to
Fridge.
God. Mister, let's make a whole channel. Oh my God.
Oh, wait, yeah, wait, are you the one that suggested that? Let's make a whole channel for... I saw someone that suggested that, make a whole channel for kissing bitches.
It was most likely Irishman. He's hilarious. He's such a great guy. I actually miss RPing with him. I haven't seen him this iteration at all. I'm scratching my arm. That's what that sound is, by the way. Alright, y'all. I've been in here for, I think it's been 2 hours. And
It has been officially
Yeah.
2 hours.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, really?
I'm kind of, I kind of want to get out of here side, and that doesn't mean I'm bored. That literally just means that, I have IRL shit to tend to.
I'm not gonna lie, I was about to say the exact same thing because
Yeah.
Dinner
I'm
just
about-
got done.
Yeah, I'm
So,
about to contact Isaac to end the stream because
Yeah. I'm gonna see
we're
you
pretty much
guys. This was
done
fun.
talking about everything.
And I'll see you guys in RP
but,
and in tickets because y'all are bad people.
But before you
Except
go,
me as
Ike,
moderator, no.
before you go, Ike, one more thing I'd like to say. When you make your character, just think about it for 2 seconds. A lot of people, and especially recently as I've seen, will just throw a character together that's something basic, or maybe it's something that they do all the time, which is a different name. Just like my best ideas for me personally come when I'm about to fall asleep. So I have my phone by me all the time, so I can write down ideas, or so then I have ideas for certain things. So just like go to your place that's best for you to think, and then think of ideas there. Don't just throw something together so you have it done and you don't have to worry about it. Definitely like just think out your ideas for like 2 seconds and have a little bit more fun with it.
Something else you should think about is getting some bitches. Alright, I'll see you.
Alright, and I think that's a good place to end.
I'll see you
Yeah.
guys. Bye.
Alright, see you guys. Thank you for inviting me. Anytime you guys need me back, just contact me, and have a good day.
Alright, see you.
And we have a little group.
Alright, on to the new podcast, okay? Let's start talking about official servers, and how
No.
KOS be reintroduced to We That Remain, and how military characters are the new big thing.
Oh my
What
God.
topics we got then?
Well, I told you about my
Dingo as a military man. Come on,
Hell
keep
yeah.
up.
Sergeant Dingo.
God.
Vietnam.
Shut up. Oh my god.
Jesus.
I love doing the Dingo voice. It hurts so much.
But definitely, I swear, just please research. Jesus Christ, if I
Yeah.
see another person do something that is completely inaccurate, I'm going to rip my hair out. Like, it
If I
just
hear
ruins
people mention
immersion.
a virus, it annoys me so much.
I know! When people
You gotta
mention
do research.
virus, aka, like, corona, I'm just like,
Oh my god.
shut up.
Oh, so
Shut up.
you know last iteration, yeah, okay. So it was in the 90s, right? The amount of people I heard saying simp actually killed me. Like literally, like somebody gave away a car to this female character, and everybody started calling him a simp, and I wanted to fucking blow my brains out right there. Like we
Dude, last iteration, it was in the 90s, so, like, my character was, like, chill. She was, like, a little
yeah.
forest hippie. Like, she was a little forest Russian hippie. Like,
See,
and it's, now that it's a bit in modern times, it's easier for people to, like, you know, talk a bit more accurately, but it's also kind of like, people have the little knack of, like, mentioning memes and stuff that are happening current time, and I'm
yeah,
like, it's funny, but it's also like you're ruining immersion.
yeah. Like, yeah, it can get like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you a question, Hugh. So, I mean, is Nox your only character this iteration, or did you play somebody before Nox?
This is not my first character this iteration.
Oh, you played somebody before Nox. Oh, okay, all right. I don't think we ever met.
I played
As
the
your...
last iteration. Oh.
All right.
My character
So,
is Remington. Remy.
uh,
She was a medic in Epsilon.
uh, yeah. I mean, I've got a question for you guys then quickly.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
out of any iteration that you've been a part of, like overall, we that remain, what's your favorite character you've played, and what's your favorite character that you've met out of any iteration now?
My favorite character,
I haven't played this.
since Nox is only my second character, actually, I've made other people's characters, but Nox is probably my, like, favorite character that I've made personally, because her story is so in depth, and so there's such little knacks that make her, like, makes Nox
Yeah,
Nox. And my favorite character that I've probably met would either have, okay, my thing with, like, the tower and stuff is that they're very uptight when it comes to their backgrounds and stuff, so it seems like their character really doesn't have that much in depth, but I know they do. They just don't talk about it. But my favorite character that I've met probably either has to be Dr. Monroe, or it has to be, who was it? I forget who it was. Dang it. Honestly, Nadia. Nadia or Christian.
yeah.
Like, I just like how Monroe has, like, changed over time, and how you could see, like, the switch and the, like,
Yeah,
fighting. It's, like, awesome. I love his character development. It's so cool.
yeah. Like, he's changed a lot. Like when he started off, the guy was like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, Teacup knows best. He
Give
was
you an example.
different.
Right. Ah, hello. Can I please move into a house down?
Hello there, Max. Please can I move into Metallurg? Make my laboratory there. Experiment on the ferals, if you will.
Ah, hello, Max. I see you're sad. Here's the time I killed a child.
Oh my god.
Like,
He's so-
Nox, originally, like, she was meant to be a very cold-hearted character, but, like, character development has definitely changed her overall. So,
Yeah. What about you,
And it-
Teacup? Oh, go on. No, don't. Let me stop you. EQ. What were you saying?
no, go ahead.
No. Well, so what about you then, Teacup?
What's the question? My favorite character through the iterations?
Yeah, like out of any iteration, who's your favorite character? Who's your favorite character that you've played, and who's your favorite character that you've met?
Right, well, I've only, like, started actually playing this iteration, so only that. I think I'm really torn. I don't know who I prefer over Max or Dingo because they're both completely different. Like, Max, right? He had so much room for development, but Dingo, I kind of had it all planned out.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Probably gonna have to go with Max. I think my favorite character overall though was definitely Drake.
I
Oh
love how this
yeah.
podcast is literally like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, good time. They flew
Yeah.
by.
I mean, at least we're not like Boom, who made like a 5 hour long podcast.
Oh, how? How do you have that
Not,
talent?
not, not dissing you, Boom. I know you're somewhere lurking in the comments. It was a very good episode, but how?
Yeah, but I get what you mean when you say Drake. Drake was an interesting. Did you ever, did you ever get to meet Drake, EQ, or anybody from the Refuge really, or
I
who
think
we
I
got?
don't know what was the relationship between Epsilon and the Refuge.
Oh wait, we're talking about like Lonely Roads now, like
Oh,
the,
I played Lonely Rose, but I wasn't really like I played as Rex. She was a very
yeah.
minimal character. She was like a
All right,
a
yeah,
background character. I
yeah, I
played
see.
as, yeah, she was a very I didn't play Lonely Rose much honestly,
Mhm. Yeah.
but
Can we talk about how confusing it is having a server and a lore called Lonely Roads?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit confusing.
wait, what?
No, we'll run about the lore of Lonely Roads on the server. I think, unless I'm the one that's misunderstood.
So like what?
Are we all
Isn't there?
confused?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
I'm
we're
kind
getting a
of
bit.
confused.
Yeah, we're getting a bit confused here, so I'll lead us on to a better topic. I've actually prepared a whole speech about how Dean Ford is the best character on We That Remain, and always will be,
Oh,
and how he is an amazing leader. Tika.
Dingo was better than Drake. No, not Drake. Dingo. Oh my god. No, right. Dingo was better than Dean in every way. He was more charming. He wore the cowboy hat. That's when he first came.
Okay, you're crossing the line now.
If Angsty was here, he would be like,
And like, can we talk about how Dingo actually cared for someone, right? Even going against Dean's orders, which were unjustified. He just wanted to say goodbye.
I mean, it did. Okay, I'm not gonna go too much into it, right? But you need to, like, Dingo, okay, he needed to phrase things better, okay? Because Dean's tiny brain could not comprehend things, alright? Like, he isn't the smartest of people.
You sure
Okay.
it's just Dean's tiny brain, and not yours?
Shut up, okay? It was Dean's tiny brain who didn't understand what you were saying.
You take us into that.
Essentially, right, okay, I'll give you the basic rundown, EQ. Essentially, miscommunication is a very big thing.
huh?
It's complicated. I don't want to say too much, because, like,
Well,
yeah,
we're all dead
events.
anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Alright, yeah, I guess that's true.
As long
like,
as we don't really talk about current events, we can talk about past events all we want.
yeah.
This is
Basically, his character Dingo got killed because I heard something wrong. So I got people to go after. I didn't get people to go after him, but I got people to like. Basically, Dean got people to keep the lookout for him, but then those certain people who we will not name, they're not Russian. They basically took it as a way to just kill off Dingo. What I got from that.
No, right? It wasn't that, yeah. So you know
Oh,
Drake.
okay. Yeah.
He's dead.
Oh yeah, he was.
So what he did, right? He wanted them to kill Dingo. All Dean did was give them the perfect excuse to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
He was gonna leave. He was gonna start a new
Yeah,
life. He was gonna
like-
say goodbye to his last friend, but no, that's too much.
Nah. On the talk, like when we were talking about like getting emotional in-game Million Man, when like the Dingo, alright, aside from like the shit show that was the Dingo Dean face-off, like the
Oh, that was so bad.
I know, but like the last bit where like Like when Dingo started walking off into the distance, and it was like you literally was like, man, you killed me. I'm dead now. Like he just starts walking off, goes out the gate. I was sad, man. I was like, shit, okay, Dingo is gonna die now. And like, I was just sitting there with all of like the Drake simps being like, you did the right thing, Dean. You did the right thing. He needed to die. You did the right thing.
There's only one other person there.
Sorry, I just left you the talk. I got donuts, so
Oh, right.
Oh, do you want to share?
no.
Hmm.
Unless I want to ship a donut all the way to wherever you are. I think it'd be stale by then.
I don't know. It might be, but I'm willing to take that risk.
A stale donut.
They taste better when they're stale anyway.
Ugh.
No, I just wanted to annoy you guys. I'm joking.
Good.
Okay, so, alright, EQ. I'm gonna try to explain this to you the best I can, right? So, there was a group not so long ago called the Refuge. You might have heard of them. They were quite popular. I mean, I wouldn't know. Shut up. So, have you ever played the hit 2018 game Among Us?
Wait, is it 2018?
Yeah, that's when it was released.
Wait, I feel old. What the hell?
Yeah, it blew up in 2020, but got released in 2018. So, you're answering the question. Have you ever played the hit 2018 cult classic Among Us?
Yes, sadly I have.
Alright, so imagine that but Daisy, and that was the Refuge. It was one big game of Among Us, and the imposter fooled us all and ended up winning, but he also kind of lost in the end. It's hard. It's a long unraveling story, but like Among Us, like you think at one point Metal League was Among Us, man. You haven't seen the Refuge. Like we had every kind of
currently
person.
begging for the donut.
I'm dying.
The Refuge was Among Us.
Among Us. like the ref. It was just such like a shit show. Like you had Dean, the leader of the Refuge, which was me, making the dumbest decisions possible and acting once again when we were talking about character flaws earlier. Dean's biggest character flaw is that he only acted on emotion. So like somebody died, fucking the emotions would come out. Somebody pissed him off. Well, we know how that goes, Teacup.
I'm dying. Dude, I was not
I
expecting
feel that we're making all these references. You probably don't know what we're talking about at all.
I'm like oblivious, so yeah.
For God. Literally, like, I'll give you an example, okay, just to try and like let you know about this guy, okay. So there was a massive argument one time at the Refuge to do with something being stolen. That's what I'll say. And basically, Dean, the leader, got really mad at this one guy for doing nothing. Like, he did nothing. I just want to state that. I mean, he was a bad guy in the end, but at the time he had done nothing. So Dean was accusing him of doing nothing, and everybody, like, some people were like cheering Dean on and stuff, but most of them were just like, Dean, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? And Dean had killed somebody earlier in the iteration, because they wronged him and were gonna wrong him further, and like he went right up to where they died, and this just shows how fucking crazy he got at a point. Like fucking, he was like further gone than Monroe. But like, he went up to this guy's grave, and he pulls out his revolver, and he's like, "Hey guys, what? So you remember so and so?" And like everybody's like, "Yeah, what does he have to do with this conversation?" And then Dean goes, "Well, he was a bad guy. Let's get his opinion on this. Hey, so and so, what do you think? He puts his ear up. He's like, wait, I can't hear him. I can't hear him. And then he pulls out his revolver and he's like, what do you think? Oh wait, you're dead. You can't respond. And then and then he unloads a whole revolver barrel into the grave, and everybody's just watching it. And he's just like, hey,
I feel like
what do you think?
As a person, just make slightly insane characters just for the fun of it. Like, apparently Dean was slightly psychotic, and so is Monroe. So this is, I think we have a trend going on here.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah. Like, if you get what I mean, with Dean, he had like, he had stages. He started off as like the good guy, just trying to do the right thing. Eventually progressed into going fucking insane and shooting on people's graves. And then he ended his life at a sort of neutral state. Then you got Monroe. We don't talk about Monroe.
Monroe's a special boy.
Yeah, he's very special. Like, oh my god.
Like, I love how you just let the character develop and just roll, and it's just...
I know.
I don't know if it's gotten better or worse.
Like
at
things
this
are just
point,
going on. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, I don't know anymore. But like, it's interesting how like Knox and Monroe's like character relationship has been.
yeah, because like Monroe is an interesting guy. Like, he's fucking, because with his multiple personality thing, it's sometimes I like, for other characters, especially with like Nox, I feel like it's a bit different. But with other characters, half the time I don't even think they know who they're talking to, unless it's like blatantly obvious. Because like a lot of the time, it can be very obvious who they're talking to, but sometimes, like, if you get what I mean, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, it's like I don't even know how to explain it. Monroe is like his character is just obviously, without saying too much,
Special.
he's special. Like, does he mean well? Does he not? Does this part of him mean well and this part of him doesn't? Are both parts bad? Is he just insane, mentally insane? Like, is that what's wrong with him?
We're all just confused. It's alright.
Yeah. And then you just got Max at Metal League chilling, casually, like.
Absolutely chilling.
Oh
Well,
my God.
not at this current moment. He's not chilling, but he was.
Oh yeah. How could I mean, all right. So this happened quite a while ago, like a month ago. I'm pretty sure.
You alright? He lagged.
Oh, okay. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. So Monroe, he's like, he used to be more like this. He used to be very blissfully ignorant, like.
I love
very...
the description, blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, it's something. I'll give you a short example. Okay, something very bad happened to Max's character one time, and he sat down next to Max. He sat down next to Max, and he was like, Max. It's a shorten it down. This isn't exactly what he said. This is just short. Okay, he was like, Max, I know what you're going through. One time, I accidentally did an oopsie as well. It's very bad. And then Max was like, I don't care. I don't care. And then he was like, whoa, Max, why are you being such a dick? I have a sob story as well, man.
You're making Max seem like the bad guy here. You gotta say what that sob story was.
Dude, like,
what did you say to annoy
Monroe
Max?
is like the type of like character who is like, he's ignorant because he has never really had a lot of social interaction.
Yeah,
That's what
like
it seems like. It's just like he doesn't know how to like actually talk to people, and it's absolutely hilarious.
yeah, like his character like before everything happened, he spent like the past 8 years of his life just researching, working for different people, like on the side, like just doing whatever he can, like some shady shit, and like he just hasn't had the time to properly socially interact, and then he just gets thrusted into worlds with like partying social summer camps and like fucking a group of armed Russians who used to be I don't even know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we are pretty much done with the podcast right now. I think we're basically wrapping up everything, and we're kind of just rambling at this point. So,
Yeah.
thank you all for coming. It was definitely a very fun episode. This is probably one of our longest and probably, I would say, our most interesting episodes since we had so many different opinions and we had a lot of discussions that were honestly really nice. And it's definitely what, like, making a character is definitely, I see a lot of people struggling with. And it's something that I think everyone could have a little bit of a refresher on and everyone can, talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, if I could get Isaac back. Well, you two guests are free to leave whenever you want to since we're basically done with it all. And we just have our outro to do. So, I mean,
Alright then.
you may be on your way. I will maybe be in game. Maybe.
Yeah. Alright, well, see ya everybody. Keep in mind, Dr. Monroe is the best character ever, no excuses. And Max is the worst character ever. KOS him if you see him. He deserves it, trust me.
KOS is totally loud. No, it's
Yep,
not.
it is. And did I
Don't
ever tell you about the time I amputated the wrong leg?
No.
Okay, well, goodbye. Don't forget Monroe's the worst character. Dingo is the best character to ever step foot in We the Remain. Bye bye.
Well, everyone, since Isaac is here to end the podcast, I want to thank you all for watching, and please comment anything that you think we could improve at all. And our next episode will be very shortly. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching, and peace.